Hey everybody, this is Salah, and you guys are welcome to this exciting course on C Sharp. We are learning C Sharp step by step. As you know, we have been focusing on collections in C Sharp, and in the last couple of lectures, we thoroughly covered one-dimensional array. Right? So now we are done with the one-dimensional array. We know how to code it and loop through it using the for and the for each loop. So it's now time to learn the second collection in array category, which is called two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional array is also called a matrix, just like a matrix in mathematics. So our topic here is two-dimensional arrays, and they're also called matrix. So let's learn this interesting data structure. Now, as the name suggests, two-dimensional. That simply means it has two dimensions, a row dimension and a column dimension. Just like a matrix in mathematics, where we have rows and columns. In order to understand two-dimensional structure, we will study some images, and they will help you to better understand the concept. Now, on the screen, you see a two-dimensional structure where we have rows and columns. The structure consists of three rows and three columns. When we create two-dimensional array, we get the structure like this: columns and rows. Now, once the structure is created, our compiler will automatically assign index values to the rows and the columns. So the first column is at index 0, and the first row is also at index 0. The second column is at index 1, and the second row is also at index 1. So the index values are automatically assigned by the compilers, and you know the purpose of the index values. Using the index values, we access the individual components, and you know that. When we learn the one-dimensional array, we use the index values to access the individual components. The same concept is applied here. However, in the one-dimensional array, we had only one dimension. And here we have two different dimensions and two different index values. And that simply means an individual components in two-dimensional array will recognize itself with two values, two index values. For example, the index value of the first component is 0, comma 0, or simply 0, 0. The first 0 represents the row index and the second 0 represents the column index. So in order to access an individual components, we combine the row and column index values. If you want to access the second component, the index value would be 0, 1, because the component is at row 0, but this time the column is 1, and that's why the index value is 0, 1. So every component has its row index and column index. We combine them both to access the component. Now, for example, the value of the last component is 2, 2, because the row index is 2 and the column index is also 2. The same way, the index value of the middle component is 1, 1. The row is 1 and the column where the component exists is also 1. So my friends, this is how two-dimensional array structure works in programming. Now we know that. It's now time to code it and do some practical experiments. The two-dimensional array has its own syntax. So let's learn the syntax. I'm just going to declare an array. I will reserve the spaces for the rows and the columns. We will start with the data type. Let's say I want to work with the integer values, and right after that, I will put large brackets, and inside the large brackets, we need to put a comma like this. The single comma inside the large braces simply tells the compiler we are going to create a two-dimensional array. And now we are going to choose a name for our array, which is a matrix, assignment, new, int, and here we are going to reserve the rows and the columns. Now let's say I'm going to create a two-dimensional array which has three rows and three columns. That's it. So we have simply declared a two-dimensional array with the name matrix and reserve the spaces. Our array has three rows and three columns. So this line of code will create a same structure which I showed you in the images. Three rows and three columns. So that was a declaration without values. We just reserve the spaces. In the second stage, we can assign values by combining the indexes. Now let's say I want to put a value 100 to the first place. Now I know the index value of the first place is 0, 0, and to that place I simply put a value 100. The value 100 is now inserted at 0, 0, the row 0 and the column 0. You can also see the image to the right to get the more understanding. Now, if I want to put something in the middle of the array, so I will use the middle index value, which is 1, 1. Let's say we put here a value of 300. And the last component in our structure has an index of 2, 2. And let's say we put a value 500. So we have filled 3 places in our array using the index values. So declaration is the first step, and after that we can simply assign the values, but we don't do it manually. We usually run a loop to assign the values, which we will discuss later on. Now, in most of the cases, we actually initialize our array with values at the time of its creation. So let's see, how do we initialize a two-dimensional array at the time of its creation? We don't need the new part, just remove it. And now we will put the curly braces like this. Make some space. Now inside the first curly braces, we will start creating rows and column. And each row has its own pair of curly braces like this. Now let's put the values. Let's say 100, 101, 102, a comma, enter. Now the second row, and the value is 200, 201, 202, the trailing comma once again, and here comes the third row. The values are 300, 301, and 302. So what we have done here, we have simply initialized a two-dimensional array with values. The array has the same structure, 3 rows and 3 columns. So here we have row 0, row 1, and row number 2. And here we have column 0, column 1, and column 2. Just have a look at the image on the screen. This is how our array looks in the memory. We have values to the right, and all the values have their own index values. If I want to access 100, I'll provide the index 00. If I want to access 202, I will provide the index 1, 2. If I want to access the last value, 302, I will provide the index 2, 2. For example, in the console right line, we can simply write matrix of 0, 0. 0, 0 gonna print out 100 because the index value of 100 is 0, 0, row 0 and column 0. And let's write some more right line matrix of 1, 1. This value has the index 1, 1. You will see in the console to 0, 1. And one more console right line, and this time I'm going to print 300. 300 has an index value of 2 and 0, row 2 and column 0. The first value represents the rows and the second value represents the column, and now you will see 300 in the console. So let's run the program and check the output. And so you see the output 100, 200, and 300, right? 100, 200, and 300. So my friends, that was two-dimensional array in C Sharp. Easy to create and easy to read out. But there is one thing, and you need to be very careful about it. There is a requirement with the two-dimensional array. And that requirement is all the rows must have the same column length. For example, we have 3 rows and all the rows have the same length, right? We cannot have different column lengths. For example, in the first row, I try to insert another value 103. Now you see the error in our program. We have simply disturbed the structure. Our first row has 4 columns, whereas the second and the third row have only 3 columns. All the rows must have the same column. The structure should be a rectangular structure. To simply remove the value, or make all of them same like this. So just remember this requirement. A two-dimensional array requires all the rows must have the same columns. If you want your rows to have different columns, then we have another structure which is called jagged array. And jagged array is next on our list, right? So we will cover it later on. So my friends, that was two-dimensional array, and now we know how to create it, how to initialize it with values, and how to access the components, how to access the values. So do some practice by your own, create some arrays of different data types like string or floating point numbers. I will see you in the next lecture. In the next lecture, we will learn to apply loop onto dimensional array. And this is going to be very interesting. So I will see you there. Thanks for watching.